So VIX, it's simply an addition of what we've been talking about the previous days, because market structure was still bearish. This was an uptrending market structure, then boom, made a lower low, lower high, lower low. Then this whole area is a lower high. So basically this market is coming from a lower high zone. This is a lower high. So meaning these sales were supposed to start there. 1, 2, 3, for the past 3 days, it was just supposed to be holding. So from that lower high, now we expect price to come back to this lower low. So basically you will realize that after this push that happened, this impulse move that happened, we now entered sort of like a ranging zone. A ranging zone is a zone whereby price is maintaining the same highs and the same lows, same high. So this whole zone is a ranging zone. A ranging zone, you sell at the top and buy at the bottom. So here it might even come back down here and go back even up. Then most probably come and break as it touches the third time. First time, second time, maybe third time, it can even come for that third time again. It can probably do that. So that is simply a rough outlook of the whole thing. That is just a rough outlook of the whole thing. So overall market, we are saying we are bearish. Overall market, we are saying we are bearish. So in a bearish market, you always want to be found on the side of what? Of the trend. You always want to be found trading on the side of the trend. On the side of the trend. So if you remember what we spoke about concerning the Fibonacci, that Fibonacci's they apply in a trending market, and when the markets they are not trending, for example here, this is the Fibonacci that is still being maintained from that swing high to this swing low, draw point A, point B, pulled back to the 61.8. So it's still the same Fibonacci still being maintained. Same Fibonacci still being maintained here. Same Fibonacci still being maintained. So that Fibonacci is the same Fibonacci that you still need to look at when you're looking on the daily time frame, where we're expecting price to come back to zero. If it fails to break the zero, it will go back actually up to most probably continue with this range that it just began. You can go back up here, go back up, then most probably come down and break the 0%. But even if it comes now and break the 0%, it's actually good for us, because we'll simply enter more selling opportunities upon the break of the 0%. So that is what we are currently looking at according to the daily market structure. We are bearish. Market structure is still bearish, but we are currently in this range that we have. In this range that we have after the bearish impulse move that happened, we are now currently in a what? In a range. So these sales basically we simply swing sales from the top of the range. Obviously, you are holding all the way to the bottom of the range. So now, right now, if you check these bearish candles, how strong they are very, very strong bearish candles to the downside. If you check this, the daily candle of yesterday, it actually closed very, very, very much bearish, meaning the bearish pressure is so much high to the downside. And we actually need to be found on the bearish side of the market, which is where the trend currently will be. So for entry points now, for example, if ever you missed this best entry, this was the best entry for this whole move that is happening. The best entry was there. Then the next entry was yesterday. Yesterday, I think it was somewhere around this zone according to the small time frame. Then the third one was most probably after a break of a certain zone, somewhere around there. So all those three were the three major entry points for this particular sell. So now we still need to identify more because it still can push further to.
What to sleep? Yeah. So you'll be fine.
So I hope everyone has an account now.
The more volatile the bigger, the easier the setup. Because recently I got a textbook setup. But in real volatile is one those names, but as long as pay on the rupee area. Mama limits are what again. You pay that.
So do you understand the current lookout that we are looking at on the VIX?
Yes.
So according to the daily, that is what we are still looking at, whereby we expect price to push further to the 0%. But is it going to push further now? That we are not aware of that. We simply need to look out now for areas where price can, if ever it has to pull back, where can it pull back to? If ever it wants to pull back, can it pull back anywhere in between our current move that we're expecting? Because I also have this trend line here. This trend line, it's actually a valid trend line. Touch. Many people, they when they see something like this, they think a trend line is invalid because according to their books, it will be saying you don't cross over. Your trend lines must not cross over in between the market, of which that's a wrong thing, because the market also, it has a way of manipulating trend lines and faking out like this. So this trend line is still a valid trend line. So after the break in like this, one thing that we always expect is always something like this. Then this touch is something that we always anticipate after every fake out like that. After every fake out, we expect just a slight pullback to touch there, then go all the way. But in as much as that is also something that we're expecting, but we simply now want to look now at what price might be telling us further on the other time frames. So that's my first key level. My second key level is this 0%. My third key level, I think it's at the bottom here. At the bottom here, we have this area here. Touch. That's a key level there. Touch there, key level. So these are the three major key levels that I have currently. I don't even need another one at the top there, because these ones, they can still help me for the next trades of this next coming days or the next coming weeks. So after I've drawn that on the daily, I've seen my overall bias is bearish, and I've seen where I'm expecting price to go to. So after I've done that, I now need to go to a lower time frame than the daily, which is obviously the 4-hour. Maybe we can get some other further details to help us to see if ever price is still just going to push today. It's just going to push the whole day, or is it going to maybe pull back then continue. So we simply go to a different time frame lower than the daily, which is the 4-hour time frame. So on the 4-hour time frame, that is what we are looking at. This is what we are currently seeing on the 4-hour. So on the 4-hour, Price is creating some form of support around this area. If you check that area that I marked with a dotted line, touch there, this area, price is creating some form of a support around that area. Price is creating some sort of a support around this area here. Let me see if I can extend this. Okay, so it's like this. This area here, price is creating some sort of a support around that area. If it doesn't bounce there, most probably we have this other area. Where's the area? This is the area that we also have here. Touch there, touch there. So if it doesn't bounce on that one, most probably it can bounce here. But if you see price breaking now, see price breaking this, definitely is still continuing all the way without the particular pullback that we might be expecting. Price can continue that way. So now, I also have that key level here. Why is this a key level? The reason why it's a key level is because of what we saw in the past. What we saw in the past, price respected here, respected here. If you check here, after breaking this zone, after breaking this area, after breaking it, it had to come back and retest it again. Because according to market structure, this was a lower high. So after the breaking of the lower high, it had to come back and retest the broken lower high. That's making a higher what? A higher low there. So that same area is actually a higher low of the previous market structure that we had. So according to that, we also expect and anticipate something like this, the retest of that broken level, because this is a key level that has been broken. So we anticipate something like this and this. That is also something that we can anticipate. That is also something that we can anticipate, but that can only happen if price rejects on those supports that we have marked, those support areas that we have marked in dotted lines. If price rejects there, that move that we're expecting, that's when it can most probably happen. So a lot of things can happen there. Price can play around, then go up, then down, or it can simply go straight up there. That can happen. So if the first scenario, the first simple scenario is whereby price will break these areas and go straight down, then the second one is whereby price comes, rejects there, then goes back up to test that trend line, which is also that key level, or it plays around, consolidates, then goes up, then down like that. So those are three scenarios that we're currently looking at for the VIX. Those are three scenarios that are currently looking out for the VIX. So you going down to a lower time frame again is simply just to confirm with what you are currently seeing on the daily and what you also saw on the 4-hour. So just going to a lower time frame like the 1 hour, right? This is the 1 hour time frame. This is the 1 hour time frame. So mind you, are still holding, you're still in. Right? Mind you, are you still in or you came out?
I'm in.
Okay.
I'm
just asking. Are you still in?
No, I'm still in because I'm in by that the trend line. So
okay. I know it's fine.
Still in.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So this channel, downward channel, has been maintained. It has been maintained for the past 1 or 2 days. This is the channel that has been guiding to say our sales are still what? Are still safe. I told these guys, once we're outside this downward channel, that's most probably where some buys can happen, outside of that channel. So now that's actually a very key channel that one has to have on their chart. So on the 1 hour now, on the 1 hour, we can see that price lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. So price is backing out this lower low. Is it going to break that lower low? We don't know about that, but that can also say something about the move that we're currently expecting. So this low can also be a decision maker. The break of this low here can also be a decision maker for us to say, are we still continuing all the way down, or it can even break that low and come to the trend line and bounce on the trend line. So that low as well, it's a key area to just take note of right now. It's a key area to take note of right now, because it might also result in a double bottom that can happen. If ever it rejects there, it can actually be a double bottom. Once a double bottom, it will go back up. Then now it also has to come now and break this lower high. For any buys to happen, it has to come and break this lower high. Unless it doesn't break this, it will still maintain up until maybe. So that area, the lower high and the lower low, they're also key areas to take note of right now. So the best opportunities, the best times to trade are always after the market has confirmed the particular direction. So for example, here we are saying this lower high, it's a key area. So meaning above this lower high, that's where we expect any safe short-term buys to happen. We expect them to happen above that lower high, because so long it doesn't break that lower high, market still has power to continue going down. So potential short-term buys above here, above that lower high. So those short-term buys, obviously, I showed you the area where they can go to. I showed you the level that those short-term buys they can go to, whereby we have that trend line on the daily that we saw. So that can happen. That is also something that we are mentally prepared to happen. So now if it breaks this lower low here, we now look out for this trend line now, because that trend line can also have an impact now. Price can come here, then most probably bounce there. So now either here, and here. These are the areas that we are currently looking out for now. It comes and breaks this one. That's where we now know that we are continuing with our what? With our sales. It's just a continuation of our sales. Here it can come and maybe play around before continuing. So once it breaks that now, we now know that it's simply continuing all the way to the downside without any retracements that we might be expecting. So those are the things that we're currently looking at now. Those are the things that we're currently looking at now for the VIX. So whoever is still in the sales, you are still safe, what you simply need to do, you simply need to shift your stop loss to a winning zone. A winning zone here will be a winning zone. In this case, it will be slightly above the, you can put your stop loss slightly above here, above there, or even halfway there, for you to secure maximum profits. Even if it continues going, you are still okay. Even if it decides to go on top there and goes all the way there, you would have secured maximum profits there. So somewhere here or above here or above here, you can put your stop losses there. So that's the trend line that we have. That's the channel still being maintained, The channel is still being maintained. So for the VIX, so long we are still having this downward channel and it's not broken, we know that the sales are still going to continue and continue and continue up until price reaches a level of major support. So that is what we are currently looking at. So yesterday, I think the break of the key level was around, where was the level? I think the break of the key level was not somewhere here, maybe somewhere here. Okay, so I think it was somewhere here. Somewhere here on the 30 minutes, it was somewhere here. So yeah, this was the area that we were anticipating now. So the break happened now. The break happened and the retest actually happened. The break happened, came back for a retest. This was the retest that we talked about, mind you, whereby we said, wait for the full break and retest. This was the retest. So the retest today was the next best selling opportunity for the VIX. That was a very, very clear. I don't know where you entered. Where did you enter? Where is your entry?
At that resistance.
Okay. That's a good entry point. That was a good.
Before the retest.
Okay. So when it came to retest, what were you now thinking? Did you see it as a retest, or you now thought otherwise?
It reaches like $15, then it starts to retest up $6. I'll just hold. So let me just hold.
Okay, no, it's fine. It's fine. Here, it's obviously, it's all about when you hold long, like that's how you're going to fully realize the maximum, because these markets, they move in moves. Like if you check this move, this was a move. For you to realize maximum profit in that, you have to hold up until you reach a level of resistance. Same as this trade. This trade basically is still holding from the major key level there. It's still a holding trade because we haven't found anything to come out of this, because we are still inside this downward channel. As I told you yesterday, that this downward channel is still the guiding angel that is saying we can still hold, we can still hold our sales. So it's still a holding phase from the top there. Had you managed to take the sales from the top there, you could have actually been in good money right now. Had you taken the sales from the key level there, the top, right now you'd be running it 166 with the minimum lot size. $166 with the minimum lot size, simply risking $10 simply risking $10 there. Right now you'd be running at 166 with a minimum lot size. If ever you took one trade, just holding that one trade from there. Obviously, along the way, you would have added some trades. Obviously, there are so many areas here where we actually identified entry points. If you remember the sale that we gave, it was somewhere around this area. Yes, we had a trend line. Yeah, it started here. It was coming from the bottom there. Right, this was the trend line. This was the trend line. How was it like? Right, this was the trend line. So there again, on the break of this trend line, one could have also realized some opportunities as well. So I want you to look out now for, there's also another area, a very, very, very secretive area. This is a secretive trend line that one might not realize. Touch, you draw. So we are saying our entry points at a lot of areas here. A lot of areas, they could have given you entry points. This zone here, we spoke about this. So all these zones that are marked in yellow, that zone here, this area here, you would have gotten an entry. There you could have gotten an entry. Here you could have gotten an entry. Here you could have gotten an entry. Here, the break of those lows, you would have gotten an entry. Here, you would have gotten an entry. Here, you would have gotten an entry. Here, on this blue one, you would have gotten an entry. Here, you could have gotten an entry. So check how many entry points that you could have actually scaled in this move, just from there to there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 entry points were there, just from there to where the market is currently. So meaning you would have scaled in on all those areas, you would have scaled in positions, just shifting your stop losses, scaling in, shifting your stop losses. So every move has a lot of entry points. If you ask me, there are so many entry points that are always going to be there if ever you really open your eyes widely. So here right now, we simply want to look at the reaction that price is going to give us on the trend line there. If it breaks that one, definitely price can still continue to push further. So I think that is the area which is close to this support here, close to that support there. That is the whole area that we're anticipating price to come and break. So if it breaks that one, we know that it's still a continuation of our sales. It's still a continuation of our what? Of our sales. So that is what we're looking at. If it comes and breaks here, we still expect something like a pullback. Same thing that happened here. Same thing, break. So same thing that we'll still be looking out for on that area. But if it doesn't happen, you wait for some short-term buys after the break of this channel. After the break of this downward channel, you get some short-term buys to the key level there. The key level there, it will be a trend line on the daily. That's actually a trend line on the daily. So you only enter the buys after the break of the downward channel. You only enter the buys after the break of the downward channel, and you only enter further sales after the break of this level that we marked there. So that is still the current lookout for the VIX. That is currently the lookout that we have for the VIX as for today. That is the lookout. Any questions? Any questions?
None from me. No, I don't have.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So So yeah, we'll be updating each other in the group and we'll see. We'll take things from there.